Matt A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners share their wisdom. It's short and to the point to respect people's time, and because we all know, transforming possibility happens super fast, and it leads to lasting results. So enough of that. Let's get to it. Question number 1. Tracy, tell me who you are and what you do.
My name is Tracey Bissett. I am based in Toronto, Ontario in Canada. My background is all in commercial lending and risk management and banking, and I am a financial coach for entrepreneurs and young adults. And it's really my pleasure and privilege to help take the mystery out of money for them.
Take the mystery out of money. I love that. And I love that you just highlighted younger people too, because I think as we were just talking, it's a needed thing. Not only younger people, but I love that you're kind of niched in that space, right? And 20 some years of experience in business.
Absolutely.
In the financial space. Good for you. Very well needed. Question number 2. I'm really interested in hearing this from the financial aspect, especially. What's the best thing about being in business, Tracey?
Oh, there's so many great things. Number 1, I love that you have freedom and flexibility to create your schedule and the kind of work that you want to do. I love that you can decide how much you're going to charge, because I think people should make as much money as they want, not just because they should be amassing wealth, but certainly so that you can create time and flexibility in your schedule. You can create jobs if you want. You can donate your services pro bono, and it just gives this ability to do more than when you're in a job. And the third thing I would say is the ability to impact and change people's lives. So sometimes you think what you're doing, maybe it's not making a very big impact. But when one person tells you, hey, you know what, you changed my perspective on this, that's why it's all worthwhile for me.
I love that. The impact and the freedom are pretty common answers. But what I really love about what you shared, and from the perspective that you bring, is that you're able to give more impact when you create more financial wealth. And that's an aspect I know, as many consultants that I've had on the show, and we talk about that a lot, but it's one that escapes a lot of people. I hear a lot of people, entrepreneurs, especially newer ones, but not all. So I just want to serve. I want to serve. I want to help. I want to create impact. Well, create some wealth for yourself, and then you'll have a variety of different ways that you can do that. So I love that you brought that to the table.
Absolutely. And I typically work with entrepreneurs. Sales are under 2 million. They're across all different industries, but the common denominator is, I would say, across 85% of them, they're not pricing profitably and they don't get steady paychecks. So I want to eradicate that and make sure people are making money so they can serve more people and expand their reach.
I almost want to ask you to just say it again. Say it again. Say it again. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Tracey. Question number 3. This is one of my favorite questions. So as a pattern guy, as a systems guy, like, we hear, and this is so true, it kind of taps into what you were just saying. We hear from other business owners that they're getting so much business sometimes that the chaos is causing overwhelm for them. Would you be willing to share your thoughts on that?
Absolutely would agree. If you don't have the right systems and you don't have the right people in place, certainly I waited too long to start bringing team on into my business, and I became the bottleneck. And so I know how that feels. I know that overwhelmed feeling. So you've got to be thinking about where you're going to go, who do you need to bring on board, and sometimes you need to onboard those people earlier than you have the cash flow. So how are you going to do that? So I'm a fan of that, and I'm still a work in progress myself in terms of getting all my systems in place and having the right people. But certainly over time, been able to build out more foundation and more systems and process and document things so that when people do change over in roles, it's a lot easier to have the new person get up to speed.
I love that. And here's what I love about what you just shared, Tracey. You've been in business a long time. You do very well for yourself. You're aspiring to do more, as most entrepreneurs, as everybody listening. Yes, you too is listening and watching. We all aspire for more. That's part of being an entrepreneur, right? But you are also very vulnerable and honest about your path and some of the things that, maybe you struggled a little bit with, or even maybe walking through right now. And I really appreciate that about your answer. That's so important. Some of us get, ego bound, and it's like, I'm good. And so sharing so vulnerably and honestly means a lot to me, and I know to everybody listening and watching too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Question number 4. What other successful business owners, wildly financially successful business owners like yourself, of course, should be on the Unlimited Wisdom podcast?
So I'm going to give a shout out to two people. So 𝐓𝐚𝐤𝐿, who is an expert in human resources and helping you train the management of your team, and also to help you step up into that management and leadership role. So 𝐓𝐚𝐤𝐿, as well as 𝐂𝐚𝐤𝐿, who is a master in helping business owners land corporate contracts. So lucrative corporate contracts, so that are recurring revenue, you're able to get in the door. And it's really hard for business owners who don't have a background in corporate like I do. You don't even know how to navigate that universe. And so Kim helps people do that. So those are two great guests that you could feature.
I love that, and I'll be sure to contact both of them. I love the contract aspect of it too. I used to work in contracts, so I'm familiar with that. But so many entrepreneurs have no visibility of that, and they don't know how to get in that world. So
yeah,
wonderful.
And then navigate the sales process and be successful, because you've got to speak the language that they speak.
Indeed. Wonderful. All right, Tracey, let's get to some business wisdom. What do you think?
Absolutely.
So what piece of wisdom, bringing all the experience to the table that you have over the years, what piece of wisdom would you share with other business owners?
Two things. So number one, stop waiting for things to be perfect. You have to get out there and test things, and you have to get feedback. And at the beginning, when I started my business in 2016, I had come out of corporate. I had a fair severance package, so I had lots of time to kind of fool around. And I think that was a problem, because I kept tinkering with what I was going to do. And if I had gone to the market sooner, tested things out, would have been a little bit farther along, and certainly would have landed more quickly on what I wanted to offer. So don't worry about being perfect. Your probably average is good, and you got to get it out there. You got to get people responding to it, because you can't make any sales if nobody knows who you are or what you do. So that's the first one. And secondly, you got to cut yourself some slack and really be mindful of you're doing your best. Continue to work hard, but make sure you're getting a little bit of balance in there. And that may not look like balance every day, but you've got to rest or you're going to get burned out. So accept that you're going to make mistakes, and just move on and keep learning. And I guess the third one I'll roll in is you've got to make sure you have the right network. So when I left my corporate role, I didn't have a lot of friends who were business owners. So I had to go and create a brand new network so that I would have the support I needed, people to commiserate with, people to inspire me, people to help me, because you got to be able to get help from people to be able to make it all go together.
I absolutely love that. 3 really great points, and you just over delivered too. You said 2, but gave 3. That's what we do as business owners, right? I love it. The tinkering. I heard you say tinkering, right? Like stop shooting for perfect. That's huge. I see that everywhere. I imagine you do too. That's why you said it.
Yeah.
Just being where you are and producing what you can with the resources that you have where you are, and stop trying to make it so darn perfect. That's huge, Tracey.
Yeah, everybody likes to start with their website, and you don't even know exactly what you're going to end up offering until you offer a few things and get some feedback. So you can waste a lot of time and money just starting with the website.
Oh, right. And that's you're hearing it right from the financial aspect of it. I am 100% with you. I tell new business owners that all the time. You don't need that right now. Focus on what you can do best. That's great, Tracey. I love that. And when you were saying tinkering, talk to me about tinkering. That's such a powerful word. What do you mean by that? Just share your thoughts. Like what's your experience, and what do you mean by that?
So before I started my podcast, I probably had about 10 or 20 half-written blogs, all great ideas and lovely things that never made it anywhere because I kept going back and revising them, or they were 3/4 finished, and kind of just keep picking at something and keep altering it, trying to make it better. But you're never going to get any feedback unless you get things out into the world. And so when I started my podcast, I made a commitment to be consistent on a weekly schedule. I've been doing that since December 2017. So you have to have the commitment to stay the course. But once you start getting stuff out there, then people look for it. So then you're bound, and nobody is expecting you to be perfect. That's something you might be putting on yourself that other people aren't even thinking that you're supposed to be. So stop revising, altering, redoing, just get it out there.
I love that. Iterating things and just, putting out what you are. The paralysis analysis, I think, is just huge, not just with entrepreneurs, but with people in mass, right? Just perfectionism is a killer, and it prevents people from going where you're going. If you're listening and you're watching and you're going, yep, that's me. Don't feel like you're alone, because you're not. It's with all of us. And just put the thing out there. Just Tracey said, put it out there.
Absolutely. So anybody who would know me from my former banking career, my last role in corporate, working for one of Canada's big 5 banks, was working for the chief risk officer, and we were doing things for the external directors of the bank. So there was a high level of perfection required to do that. And so when I first started my business, I brought that along, and that was not helpful because you can't make money when you're working on the same thing all the time. You got to keep moving, and you got to go out there and sell and get clients and get the visibility.
100% with you. That's so important. And I love that you also say cut yourself some slack, because I think also as entrepreneurs and business owners, especially, like we have that high drive, right? We got to go. But cut yourself a little slack,
Well,
I like to say
celebrate what you're doing well, because we don't always do that. We just get on to the next thing without celebrating the achievement. And we could have worked a year on something, and then we're just moving to the next one without even taking it in.
love it. Absolutely love it. And then the network. Well, I think that could be a whole episode in itself, huh?
Absolutely.
Tracey, share with me, if you would, a little bit about the financial aspect of what you see with young entrepreneurs. Look, some people are starting businesses at like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, nowadays, whether it's side gig, whether it's full-time gig. What do you see from the financial end of things that is the biggest, say, challenge in that space? If you'd be willing to share just one or two of your thoughts, just open thoughts.
Yeah, one of the first things I see is business owners, regardless of age, not taking accountability for the financial side of the business. And you cannot hit any of your goals. You can't drive your business forward if you don't know your numbers and you're not actively managing your cash flow. So you've got to understand, even if you trace it through from one customer, when I make the sale, when does the money actually get to my bank account? And will I have enough to make it to the next sale or till my bills are due? So being on top of those numbers. So number one, you've got to be on that. And I understand a lot of people feel embarrassed because they don't know how to do it. For some reason, people believe they're supposed to know. But it's just like anything in your business. If you need sales or marketing help, you usually go out and get it, and you don't feel bad about that. But on the number side, there's really a lot of shame and embarrassment. So you're not supposed to know, but you've heard me here today say that you need to know. So figure it out and get somebody to help you. That's number one. Number two is not validating your offer or your product in the market. Not actually showing it to real customers and figuring out who is the right segment, who's going to pay what you need to pay, you need to make to actually make money on it, because people aren't testing out their ideas and actually checking to see if they're going to be profitable. So make sure you don't put out something that you're going to be unprofitable on. And the biggest issue with anybody who's a service-based provider is not charging for their own time. So pretend you have to pay someone else to do it, even if you're delivering. And what does that price have to be when you factor in all those costs? So those are two of the big ones.
I love those answers. I really mean that too. From my walk, I have seen and connected with a lot of people who really don't know their numbers. They don't know their cost of goods sold. They don't have metrics. They don't have what I like to call, you probably call it something more professional, but like money levers, right? What are your money levers? What can you actually control that is moving the needle forward? Just like I use I'm a simple guy. I use simple analogies like driving your car. What's your speedometer? You can control that with your foot pedal, right? I try to keep it simple. I'm sure you have much more, professional terminology for that kind of stuff. But there's so many people out there. And I think that is the reason why they're just afraid. They're like, I should know this stuff, and all the head trash that comes like, who am I going to ask? I don't even know where to turn. Absolutely. So I love that you're framing this up because it's so needed in the market. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you've been in business a couple of years, and you're coming up on $1 million, and you still don't even have KPIs and metrics that are driving your company forward. I see it.
Which is very common.
I know,
Very, very
more
common.
common. I
Yeah.
love this conversation because it's more common than people realize. So if you're listening and watching, you're thinking, oh my God, I didn't realize it was as common as this. Maybe I should just reach out and speak to someone.
Mhm.
Now you know who to reach out to, Tracey.
Absolutely.
That's great. Thank you very much. Tracey, I know that we could just dig down level upon level upon level upon level, but in this brief podcast, I love that you just brought some really powerful stuff. Perfectionism, just get rid of it. Stop tinkering, stand in your value, right? Widen your network, get on podcasts, reach out to people, put your stuff in front of them, right? And get your numbers right, get them solid, know what they are, and get them right. And now you have the resource to do that. So I know you and I could talk about this forever, but let's shift gears for a moment.
Okay.
So there's a reason why we're in business, right? And that is to not work to not live to work. Every time I'm like, am I going to get this mixed up? But we work to live, and that's what it's really all about. What's the most fun vacation you've ever had, Tracey? I'm dying to know.
I love to go to different amusement parks. So I've gone to Ohio to huge amusement park there. I love going to Disney. So that's a really fun vacation for me because it's busy and active. And so I'm totally doing something different, but I love going on roller coasters. So I mentioned I was a risk manager, so it might seem kind of out of touch, but once you get on a roller coaster, there's nothing you can do. You just sit there and you enjoy the thrill of the speed and the ups and downs and the all the twists and turns. And for me, that's really fun. So I'd go on some huge roller coasters probably 20 times a day when I'm visiting these parks. So that's what I love to do.
That is the first answer I've ever heard anybody say that. And I am a huge, huge fan of roller coasters. It's on my Facebook. I'm like, I love roller coasters. So it's so funny that you picked that thing. I love
I
that.
know, and I didn't know that about you, but I've gone to so many different Six Flags parks in the US. Disney is a favorite. We have one big amusement park here. We have Canada's Wonderland in Toronto, but that's why I'm usually in the States.
I love that. That's just one of my favorite answers, Tracey. Thanks for sharing that. Was it Cedar Point you went to in Ohio?
Yes, I couldn't think of the name. Absolutely, I've been there a few times. But what I love to do, which is a little bit still business focused, while I'm there, I'm constantly analyzing their operations. Like this line is going too slow because they're not filling all the seats in the cars. And this is how they could improve their times. And I'm watching all this stuff because you have a bit of time to watch while you're in line for the roller coasters. So learning lots of stuff about business while I get those thrills.
I love that. That's how my mind works everywhere I go. What systems, what processes could they fit? Oh my goodness, they could be doing this, they could be doing that. Oh, I love it. I actually built some stadiums for Six Flags years back. That's what I used to do in my former business, for anybody that doesn't know. But we built a couple stadiums. So you're taking me back. I love the memory. So Tracey, I appreciate you. Thank you for the investment in here, because I know this is an investment of your time to just come on and share what you share and give back to people and connect with people. So I appreciate that. What's the website or social media, or when somebody watches this and listens to this and say, oh, yep, they got me. I know I need to reach out, drop that fear, just connect with someone who knows. How can they find you?
Best way to find me is on LinkedIn. So Tracey has an E and Bissett has 2 S's, 2 T's. And I do have a gift to leave with your audience, Brad, because I know some people are probably feeling inspired. So I've got a money meeting agenda for your audience so that you can download it right away. Figure out, even if your first meeting with yourself is to read it, that's okay. You're taking that first step, and they can download it at cashcoach.biz. So money meeting agenda, and they can download it at cashcoach.biz.
I love that. Cashcoach.biz. All right. And then what is your direct website, Tracey?
BissettFinancialFitness.com.
Can you say it one more time? I know you spelled it, but just say it one more time so the people listening have a moment to catch it. Say it one more time, please.
BissettFinancialFitness.com.
I love it. And that was a trick question. That was one of those lawyer questions. I already knew that because I've been on your website and it's very clear. You have a great website. So everybody listening, watching, I encourage you to go out to our website and check it out. Tracey, I really appreciate you. Thank you. This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom, where business owners making, oh boy, brace yourself, Tracey, making 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, 12 figures. It's not all about the money. Are you okay with me saying that, Tracey? I'm just kidding. It's not always all about the money. It's about sharing their wisdom globally and creating impact. Thanks for joining us.